Hello everyone, it's yet another episode of my video for today. Today we'll be going into yet another exciting topic on Microsoft Word. I think gradually we're rounding up this Microsoft episode, just some few little topics. So today we're taking something that has been bothering many for a very long time, which will be table, inserting table. And a video after this one will be taking something also more complex, but later on I may tell you what we are going to do. But for this we're taking table. And for those that have been liking our video, please I'm pleased to support our effort here. Like our videos, share, and most importantly hit the subscribe button and comment. Please, it's important. Please hit the subscribe button and subscribe to our videos and hit the bell notification so you can also get notified when we upload more videos. Please, we are looking forward to all of you to subscribe to our channel and make us have more recognition than now. Support our work. We've noticed many of you are really taking the time to watch our videos, and please subscribe to it and share it to those you know will be in need of videos like this, so they too can also benefit from every aspect of Microsoft Word. So please hit the subscribe button and the notification button, like our videos and share it to our friends. So without wasting much time, today we're taking table, inserting and editing the table. So let's just jump right in. Well, I've opened a new Microsoft Word file, and the basic idea, like remember from our previous videos, we check our page size is A4. Leave the rest the way it is. So basically we'll be taking tables. So from our previous classes, we know we talked about our ribbons, and we talked about how we can get external materials into our page for the purpose of document creation. So we're taking tables. So what is a table? Now, a table is simply a blocked way of creating documents, and blocked documents sometimes are mostly different from every other documents where we just type directly into our page. For a table in this particular case, it's so to say in blocked form. That's the only way I can put it. What is a block form of a document? Let me just do this. I'll come to this quick table here, what I call it, and I'll just pick only one of the box here. So those of you that are there now, please follow up, and if you can't get it, you can pause the video. Remember, we're taking it from the insert tab or the insert ribbon, whichever you can call it, the insert tab. We're taking the first, just hitting one of the box here. Now this is just one block of what we call a table, or a type of block that forms a table. Now these can be used to create a lot of things, but first of all, let's try and understand it. But before we go into that, please take note of the top part here. If you notice from the previous default tabs that we have here, we now have additional 2 tabs. Remember from a previous explanation of previous videos, we say if we're having an extra tab added when we insert any element, it means those tabs or that tab is there to make adjustments on what was inserted. In this particular case, we inserted one block, so which means the design is for the appearance, such as the color and the outline, color or thickness or style, while the layout will be to add, so to say, more blocks and so on. But then it's not block, so let's just explain it fully. Now when we have a table consists of literally 3 parts. So I'll just do this. I'll say parts. Let me zoom in for the purpose of those that are viewing with. Okay, so I believe this view should be enough. So parts of a table. So what parts do a table literally have? That's gone forward. Control Shift M for those that are on Windows. I've not used Mac before, so I don't know what does that. So Ctrl Shift M. So parts of a table. A table consists of one major part. Let's just say column, and let's say row and cell. Now, how do we identify the difference between column, row and cell? Now, we'll say this is just a block, right? Now, naturally, a block, so to say, in this particular case, let's just say it looks like a rectangle, has 4 sides. So that forms just one block, or one part of the table. In that case is the cell. So that forms just the cell of the table. But remember, we say this is just parts of a table. One cell still make a table though, but the table consists of one part. The entire thing here is a table, but the table has one cell. Then let's come back. We'll come back to that. Let's just go a little like this. Let me go down. Now I will be inserting something different. Now, most people are always confused about identifying the parts of a table, but the 2 words that can help us identify a table is this. Let me say identifying a table, the table parts with regular terms. So we'll do this. Let's just say column is to vertical, then row is to horizontal. So I think those 2 words is going to help us a lot. So let's see how they can help us. And we're going to do this. I'll be going back to insert another table. Now this time I'll just get the entire part of this. Now look at where I'm placing this. You see my cursor is here. It's going to insert the table here, so I'll be going on that. Okay, so let me just do the whole this. Good. So basically this is what I like doing when I'm teaching classes for table. Do your best to label this. Remember, what we did was to pick the entire block here, this entire block here. I'm not going to pick it now. I'm going to throw it into that particular part of the table. So we're picking that entire block. So do your best to label this whole top part with numbers. Yeah, then do the same thing down. Good. You're going to find out this, that you have 10 and 8. So I'll be pushing this down a little because of what I'm about to do now. What I'm about to do now is going to assist you a lot in understanding what tables means. So I'll be taking an arrow and I'll be doing this. Okay, let's make that a little shorter. It's literally not cooperating with me, so I'll try pulling another one. I'll make it shorter this time. So let me make this a little shorter. Okay, so I will be duplicating it based on the numbers I have. So I have 2, I have 4. I'm using my shift key and using my mouse to select, so I don't have to waste time duplicating them. Copy here. So meaning 2, right? So so please, those of you that are with us, you can follow us. I'll do the same thing for the sides. Now remember, we are trying to identify the parts of the table, so please, you can follow along with what we are doing, or you can just watch and try to understand exactly what is going on. So after this, you should be able to identify. Now, if I'm going to ask a quick question, the arrows that I'm having pointing here are in a vertical position, so it's pointing down, pointing to this whole line here. they are pointing to this whole line here. They are pointing to this whole line here. So let me just do something here. I will say columns, columns. So I'll say columns. Let me do this and center. Okay, come back here, drawing tool format. Let me pick off the color, pick off the outline color too, so it looks as though it's there. Okay, that does that. And this are the rows. Okay, so I will jump that back. Yeah, for the purpose of the class I don't need to go much, but I can still do that. Let me do text direction so I don't have to stress myself much. Yeah, so okay, so this little labeling with these arrows and the numbers are going to help us identify. So now remember, we said columns is to vertical while row is to horizontal. So naturally those two words are tied to two lines respectively. Let's say one line like this, another line like this. So these two lines are lines that we all are used to most of the time from our early years in school. We are used to these lines, and they really are tied to a lot of things. I will not go into mathematics and the ethics of mathematics for now. So then we have two different lines. So when we say column is the vertical, so we're saying column is the vertical part of the table. Now what you need to see is the visual part of what you are seeing in the table. Let's see this whole block as something standing beside each other. Let's say this block stacked on each other, then standing beside this block stacked on each other, and so on, this block stacked on each other. So now let's say this whole stack of 8 blocks stacked on top of each other, 1 on top of 2, 2 on top of 3, 3 on top of 4, and so on. And the same thing with this. Let's just assume there's 1 stacked on top of 2. Now they are all stacked beside each other. So the first set stacked are stacked beside the second set, and so on to the 10th part. Now that is telling you that this is a column, another column, another column. So what is that now telling us? This is one column that has 8 rows. This is another column that has 8 rows, and this is another column that has 8 rows. Now that makes me 10 columns, 8 rows. So that is actually clear, right? So but then the definition, the explanation is like we explained down there. Column is the vertical part of the table, while the row is the horizontal part of the table. Now what then is the cell? The cell is literally just one block, one part, one block, one part. So the cell is then one part of either a column or a row. So one part of the table is a cell, while the part that is literally standing, I'll call it that way, in a vertical position, if we're going to look at a view based on this arrow, the part that is vertical is the column, while the part that is horizontal is the row. Let me get rid of this line. So I believe that is clear. So we now understand that the columns are the vertical part of the table, while the rows are the horizontal part of the table. Now some might say, oh, you're wrong, it's not possible. So let's do something. we'll be doing specific targets. So I'll be doing this. Let me just do this. I'll be saying 2 rows, 3 column. No, what am I about to do now? I'm about to insert specific numbers of columns and rows. So I'll be going to insert table here. Remember, we are saying 2 rows, right? So I'll be saying 3 columns, number of columns, then number of rows 2. So the same thing I labeled here. Let's do the same thing here. So this will help you insert specific numbers of columns and rows. So the same thing goes. Let's label, and let's label. So that goes 2 rows and 3 columns. Let's do something else. Let's do the reverse of this. Let's say 3 columns and 2 rows. So we're doing the same thing. Let's go back there, insert table, then insert table. So we're saying 3 columns, then 2 rows. Oh, I think I need to do the reverse of that. I'm literally doing the same thing. Sorry about that. So 3 rows and 2 columns. I'm sorry about that. So let's go back. columns. So table, insert table. Okay, 2 columns, 3 rows. Then I'll hit the OK. So let's label and label. So you see, I have 2, I have 3. So that's 3 columns and 2 rows. Then the question is now this: what is the smallest size of table? The smallest size of table. The smallest size of table, judging by the number of columns and rows. So the smallest size of table is 1 row and 1 column. So let's just do that and let's see, insert. Let's use the specific one too, so I don't have to confuse you. So let's know that we are doing the exact thing that we need to do. So that's 1 1 for both, and there. So I just have 1. Now you look at this vertical part, we have 1. Horizontal part, we have 1. So that is just identifying your table. So if you remember from the beginning, we just hit 1 block. 1 block is actually giving us 1 column, 1 row. So we have identified the columns and the rows. So now, what more are we to identify, are we to do in a table? Now you see, we have not really worked on the ribbons coming with our table after we inserted them. So we'll start doing that right now. So I'll try to go to the next page. Let me hit enter once and I'll hold my control key and enter. So I'm on the next page. So this time, let's just insert this whole block again. So that whole block, if I'm not mistaken, is 10 by 8. Yes, 10 columns, 8 rows. So we're inserting that whole block again. So this we'll use to work on the table. So let's now find out what is the design and layout for. Remember, every ribbon that comes with anything we insert is actually there to help us work on whatever was inserted or whatever element we have inserted. In this case, we have inserted a table. So these 2 ribbons will help us work on the table. So first of all, we're on design. If you check out the layout, you see it's a little different. So let's start with the design in this particular case. So the design, you see all this here. By default, there are some styles you can add to your table. There's some styles you can add to your table by default. Let's just pick some. So you see these default styles. If you don't want to spend more time trying to pick colors and all that, you can just choose to pick one style, but let's just stick to the first one first for the purpose of this class, so we can do what we want to do. So basically the table has containers. Remember, there's a cell, just one part. I highlight two, there are two parts. So there are two parts of a cell. There are two cells I've highlighted there, but basically there's one cell, one cell, one cell, one cell. If this is 10 by 8, that what would that give us? Mathematicians, 10 times 8, that would be 80 cells. So 10 columns times 8 rows gives us 80 cells. So this whole thing is containing 80 cells. Let me do one simple trick to find out the number. So I'll just be doing bullet and numbering, and I'll add numbers. So numbers means 80 cells. So in entirety there are 80 cells. So let me deactivate that numbering back. I don't need to do that here. So in entirety there are 80 cells. So then what do we need to find out? First of all, we're going to design. So basically, if I click on just one cell, I come to shading. Shading there is to add a color to one cell or more cell if they are selected together. So let me just put just color here. So I'm putting color on just one cell. Remember, my cursor is just on one cell. I just clicked inside that cell. Remember, your ribbons will appear when you are around the table, inside the table, not just even around it. If I'm outside the table, my ribbons will actually vanish. But to work on my table, to use my ribbons, I have to be in the table, in the table. So now this is just one cell. I added a shading. Now what if I select two cells and go and pick that's another color? Remember, I selected two cells, so whatever action I carry out here, which is color, is applied to that two cell. So like text, when you highlight one, two or more cells, whatever action you perform will be applied to both of them. Now also the same thing for the outline. Let me just pick something else. Let me highlight just these two. Now here is outline. So basically we have outline style, we have outline width, then the color of the outline. Now I like going somewhere, but let me just do this for the purpose of the class for now. I'll come here later, so just pay attention. So I'll be coming here to just pick some funny outlines. Let me pick this one, a double outline. Let me pick a thickness for the purpose of those that are seeing it from far. Now the reason why I don't like this is because we have to do it manually. So now I have selected that, but nothing happened. So that's why I was mentioning this. But let me just show you what this works for. So you notice I pick a double line and make it a little thick, right? So you see when I click on this line, you see what it does? It applies those two settings. So that is why I really don't go there sometimes, except I need to do some specific lines. Let's say I want to do a specific line to have that. I can just drag above this line to the end and it gives me that setting. Let me zoom in so you can see it much more clearer. So you see there's a double outline at the top part here. So except maybe I want to do that, that is when I'll actually use that pen. But majorly I am used to my border. So let me deactivate that border painter. Now I'll be coming here. So remember I highlighted these two parts. Let me highlight it again, or let me just highlight a large area. Let's just say, let me pick like 6 parts or 8 parts, 6 or 8, whichever, but just make sure it's more. So now why am I picking 6 or 8 parts? I want there to be lines or border lines in between. So let's quickly go to border. I'll be going to border and shading. So what am I trying to do? Let me explain it first so you're going to know. Now apart from this whole place I highlighted, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Yes, 8 cells, right? Good. So what I want to do is I want to apply red color to the inner part. This red, right? Please correct me if it's not red. To the inner part of, that's these lines inside. Let's just ignore the outside one. The outside one should be just a rectangle, right, covering the 8 of them. So I want to apply red color and a thick width to the inner part. Then I will apply something else to the outer part. So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm coming here, and then let me say, hold on. Okay, so let's go back to red. So I want to apply 2 settings there. So I'll click okay. Now that is red. Now I'll go back there. Let me see. Now I want to attempt to put a different color. It's not working as I expect it to work. I think this is where you need that painter. This custom. Yeah, not listening to me. Yes, it's going to work as I expect it to work. So I'm going back to that red. Then you see I activated it and deactivated it back. So notice what I've done. I've put a blue outline, a blue border for the outside. So what I did was to access my custom here, so it allowed me to do a different setting entirely. So every time I pick a color, it's allowing me do that color to any line I wish. So let me go back to that red, please. So like we said before, a red border for the inside, a blue border for the outside. So you see, remember I custom. So red, blue border for the outside. So the blue border will be the whole entire outer border of these 6 cells, while the red border will be just the inner part of the 6 cells. So let me hit OK. So the reason why I like going there is because it allows me customize what I want to do exactly. If it's not my eyes, I think it's a different color here. I'll go change it back. So notice that you can do varieties of colors when you come down to borders and shading. You can do multi-colors, you can do multi-settings when you're in border and shading. So now that is just for the border and the shading. So it's very explanatory. Remember, you highlight 2 or more cells, you can go to your border and shading, then do your color, your style, your width. You want to do multicolors, you can go for your custom, pick one color, do a part. Let me say you deactivate and activate, it takes that color. Let me say the width, deactivate, activate, it applies that. You go for red, it does the same thing. There's a left border, it goes for red. Let me pick another color entirely. This is green. I don't think it's going to be that visible. And let me say, I'm not good with picking colors. Let me say orange to the yes, and let me say, oh, please help me out here for colors. I've picked blue before, right? Let me see. Let me say I've picked green before. Have I? I've picked red before. Have I? Let me just take this. I'm running out of colors. Okay, so now I have 4 different colors on the left border, the top borders, even 5 different colors. So 4 different colors on the outer border and another different color on the inside border. Now what is going to happen there? Each of those colors will respect this. The one I put on the top here will be applied to this top, the one on the right to this right, the one on the bottom to the bottom part here, the one at the left to the left part here, then the one at the middle to the middle part here. If I've selected up to 3, the middle one will be applied to both this and this, but I only selected 2. So let's hit OK and see if it happens. So you see, we have that color. Let me zoom in for confirmation. So you see, we have literally 1 2 3 4 5 different colors here. So that should help us understand what the design tab work for. So the design just works with appearance. Appearance in this particular case is color and shading. That's the border and the shading. Now what does our layout now works for? So our layout is one of my favorites. So let me insert that same set of table, that same size of table. Now if you notice, every time I want to insert a new table, I hit enter right here, right? Okay, let me assume I did not hit enter. Let me undo what I just did. Let's assume I did not hit enter. You see my cursor is exactly where the table ended. Let me insert that same table again. Down table. So you see, it's literally blocking me from doing that. It's literally blocking me from doing that. But I will force it to accept it. So let me go. That is 10 columns, then 8 rows. That is for that same table. So insert. Now good. This is what I'm expecting to happen. So you see, it joins that table with the second one, which I don't want. Now in cases like that, which might happen, this is where the layout tab now comes in. So our first tool picking on the layout tab is this tool, split table. Now split table works with where do I want to split the table from. Now it is just here, right? If I'm not mistaken, let me just do 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So good, this is where we're splitting from. I'm not splitting from here, I want to split from here. So I'll go split table, and then that separation is there. So to avoid that, when you're inserting a new table and you go under the table like this, you hit your enter once to create an actual space in between them. And when you insert that table, it literally wouldn't join with the other table. What if that happens? You use your split table. So what are you working on right now? Let's clear up this one, delete. So like we did with colors, selecting more than one cell, we'll be doing the same thing here too. We'll be selecting more than one cell. What happens with the layout? So let me select 2 cells. Now we're starting with something we call merge. Now when I hit merge, what it does, merge is just another word for join. It's a big word for join. Now when I merge, it simply joins them and makes them one cell. So let's hit merge. Now remember, the same rules applies. 2 or more cells, if you merge, it does that. So let me do something with merge. Let me select just, let me say 8 12 cells, and let me merge. Now that brings us to another part, which is the split cell. We have used split table, right? This is the split cell. Now what does the split cell do? Now this is me, I merged 3 4 1 2 3, right? I merged them. So let me split. Now let me say I want to split it into, let me say 3 columns, 2 rows. The possibility that it's not going to allow me to split it to 2 rows is high, but I'll try it. So you see, it's not allowing me to split to 2 rows, it's allowing me to split to 3 rows. So I will simply try to accept it. Let me go 1 row, let me say 3 columns. So 3 columns acceptable. Good. So now 3 columns, then 1 row. So that's what the split work for. You can also split just one cell, split cell. This I can split to 2, then 1. So it's going to allow me to split to 2 2, yes. So you can split 1. So you see that. So we are literally splitting just one cell into multiple cells. So that's what the split works for. Now let me do this again. Let me merge. Okay, let's go somewhere else. Let me go somewhere else. Let me leave that. Let me merge cells. Now we'll come to this later. Let me come here first. So for those of us that that joined my previous classes on text, we noticed that for text we had alignment, which is left, center, right, and justify. So something like that is also here on our table. Now you see, I merged multiple cells. If I had put that text here, now you will not notice that the text is actually on the top right. So that is where this alignment comes into play. Ouch. So let me go to layout. So you see alignment here, this is top right. For table, it has 9 alignments. So play around and see how it works, but know that the alignment can actually get you to the middle. If you check my alignment, it is just the center, and this is the bottom left, this is the bottom right, top left, top center, bottom center, left center, right center, center. So it literally has 9 alignments. So sometimes be careful, be watchful about the alignment you're actually making use of. So watch your alignment. Then one other thing, let me put this also here. Now one other thing from that aspect is your text direction. So this can actually rotate your text in 1 2 3 three positions. Three positions, yes. 1 2 3 positions. Yes, you can rotate your text in 3 positions. So your text direction. Now, but I'm also concerned about this one. So let me go to this. Now, so remember the idea of highlighting 2 or more, right? Let me highlight now this entire place and do delete. Now, what am I deleting? The question is, I don't want to delete these 2 rows. Now, if I hit delete columns, the whole table vanishes. Let me do that. The whole table is gone. I don't want that. Control Z. Now, in this particular case, what I'm actually deleting are rows. So when I go delete, I am actually selecting delete rows, and those part goes. Now, if I do this, if I delete rows, the entire table vanishes. So what am I doing? I'm actually deleting columns. So please take note from the previous part of columns and rows. Try to understand how to remove by exactly what you want to remove. So that brings us to these 4 guys here. Now remember, we have right now 1 2 3 4 5, right? Okay, let me do a little labeling. I think it works well when I label. And let's go for 2 here. So basically I have 5 columns and 2 rows. Now what does this work for? These are just quick way to just insert either a column or a row. We have 2 that will insert row, insert above and insert below. Then we have 2 that will insert columns, insert left, insert right. So let's quickly use them. Now I am here. This is my cursor is. So based on where your cursor is, you can choose what you want to do. So let me say insert right. Now that's going to insert a column in between this 1 and this 2. So I will stay on 1. I'm staying on 1. Please take note of that. So I'll go insert right. So that inserted a column in between 1 and 2. So if I come here, which is on 3, if I say insert left, it will insert a column in between 2 and 3. So insert left. Remember, judging by where my cursor was on 3. So that inserted left. So both insert left and insert right are going to insert columns based on where your cursor is. So be careful where your cursor is. So remember, if I'm here and I insert right, it gets me a column. If I'm here and I insert left, it gets me a column. Now, if I'm here, anywhere on this row, wherever I am on the row, if I insert below, sorry, if I insert below, because I'm on the first row and I insert below, it will insert a row in between 1 and 2. So insert below. Now, if I'm on still the same first row and I insert above, it will insert a row above this number 1 here. So insert above. So you see, now that is that. So you see, that is how to literally insert some fast columns in between. Sometimes you might have lost count from the beginning of your insertion of your table. You can just add, instead of deleting the entire table and starting over, you can just add another column or add another row. Now, one thing I want to show you also, now you see this table here is not as wide as this whole place here. So basically you can literally adjust your table's height with this. You can come to any of the lines here. You can help you adjust a particular column or the entire width of the table. Now let's do something like, let me say I want this to be here. Okay, you see the guy is not really cooperating. Let's say I want it to be here. Now but look at this whole thing, they are unorderly. Now sometimes you might need a particular size specifically for each, but if you are working with a table where you need them to be equal sizes, now this is what can actually help you do that completely. Every time my mouse is inside the table, you will see this, right? Go click on that. This is what you're going to do. Distribute evenly. Now this is to distribute columns evenly. Now you see the columns here are uneven. So when I click this to select the whole table, let's just click this guy. Now it distributed them evenly. So right now they are all equal. Now the same thing goes for the rows, to distribute rows evenly. Now, but then you might say, what about this measurement? Now this will also do something evenly, but it will do them the same size. So let me just assume I want to increase the size of all these rows. I want to make them a little taller. I'll just go pop 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 pop, and you see they're going equally. I drop it, the same thing too, they are equal. I take it up, the same thing, they are equal. And that goes for the columns too. I drop it, I increase it. So you see, out of the page. So you see, so what I like doing is literally picking my size for the width and going select all, then distribute evenly. So you can also do that for specifics. Let me say I drop this here, I drop this here, I drop this here. I can choose to select this whole ones here and distribute columns evenly. It makes those ones equal. So don't think because if you don't select the whole table, it doesn't do that. So you can actually choose a particular part to make them even. So that is that for that. So your task is going to be this. So the task that I'll be giving you, let me go to a new page. So the task that I'll be giving you, don't say it's complex, I'll take the first one. Your task for this video is to create a calendar for 2024 in one page. So how are you going to do that? So calendar 2024, so you must have added your calendar 2024 somewhere. Let's just say at the center. Control E. Good. Now the idea is to insert tables beside each other. So what we're going to do is to insert a table. Now based on my previous count, I came to realize that if I'm going to have 2 months in one beside each other, so to say, let me say insert. Now Monday to Sunday to Saturday, that's 7, right? 7 days in a week. So that is 7. Another month will have 7, that is 14, right? So which means my columns will be 15. Now some weeks are 5. Let us say the highest weeks are 5. Most of them are 4 weeks in a month. Let's say 5 weeks. Now where I have my Sunday to Monday will be okay. Let me just do this. Basically it's actually 15 and 7 rows. So you see that it's 15 and 7 rows. Let me not stretch you too much. So 15 and 7 rows. Now the question is, why is it 15 and 7 rows? Let me do this now. Because I want to put in the name of the month on the first row here, I'll be going to the second row. Now this is my caps lock is on. I'll be going for Sunday, I'll be going for Monday, I'll be going for Tuesday, I'll be going for Wednesday, I'll be going for Thursday, I'll be going for Friday, I'll be going for Saturday. Now let me jump one column and do the same thing for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now this will actually be creating my separator for my table. So what am I going to do now to create that separation? I can't have this here. Now let's go now to our layout. Now there's this eraser tool here that can do that. So I'll go eraser tool. This is option number 1. Let me do this. Let me copy this entire table. Control C. I'll go under, leave a space and paste. Now I'll be showing you 2 ways to remove these lines. So option 1, you take your eraser, you hit the lines individually. Sorry about that. Let me see. Hit the lines equally. Now this is being stubborn, So I'll just do this. You take your eraser, hit the lines equally. Now that did something completely different, so I'll use another option. Now another option is to use the design. Let me see, I'll be taking white. I don't like this option because if you're having a background color that is a little different, it's going to cause a little confusion. So you see, if I add white to this, it has a little disadvantage. I'm going to show you right about now. Now when I use a white border, it actually works, but this is the disadvantage of using a white border. Let me come to design here and let's say pick a page color. Did I hit page border? Page color, sorry. And let me say I have a page color. Now this is the advantage of using white. Now I don't want to use white, so what I'm going to do is I'll highlight this whole section here. Remember our borders, right? Now let's go to border and shading. Now remember the lines we don't need are the ones that are literally horizontal. So what I'm going to do is I'll eliminate those lines that I don't need and I'll click on OK. So I click. So you see, it's much more different from this where I make them white and I have this. So they are literally not there. In case you're exploring colors, you don't have to start conflicting or battling with the lines that are shown here. So that is that. So now for this top, this is where you need your marge. The same thing for this is where you need your marge. Good. Let's just say this is January, and this is February. Okay, so now I'm selecting the whole table. I want everything to be centralized, so I'll go center. Okay, that is centralized, and I go hold my control key. Hold on, let me do this, and I say bold, control B, and that is bold. My Sunday is mostly red. Hold my control key, Sunday, I go to design. Remember, design is for colors, so Sunday is mostly red. I'll be going back to home because I want to work on text. My text is going to be white. So then I can just take this whole part here. I go for my shading. Let's see, let me just go God mode on this a little. So, and I do the same thing for that. Because of that color, it will literally edit the outline color because it's too thick. So you see, now I can just impute my dates. So if you have done that and you just want to use a uniform color for your calendars, all you need to do is to copy your calendar, the 2 months you have edited, go under, hit enter, then paste. Then you have that same one. All you need to do is just to edit the content. So your task is, remember, to create a calendar for the year 2024. So you can pause the video, do it, and submit it for the benefit of you. If you have any question or any challenges, there will be challenges though. There will be challenges. So for those of you that are going to do the tasks, you come to find out that your calendar will actually exceed the page. So if you don't know how to fix it, you can comment below and I will show you how I did mine. I'll probably do a video of the calendar specifically. So for those that joined us, what have we talked about today? So today we really talked about table. Let me get this page color off. I don't want. So today we talked about table and parts of a table, and we talked extensively on how to identify the difference between columns and row. We inserted specifics using insert table. Then we see how we can use design to add colors and styles to outlines, and also colors to outlines. We can see how we can merge and we can see how we can split. Then we now come to the tasks for the day to see how we can create a calendar for we're in 2024. Sorry, your task is to create a calendar for 2025. God, why did I just 2025? So for those of you that join us, thank you for joining us. Do well to perform the task that is ahead, and remember, this is another edition of my video, and like I said from the beginning, please do well to subscribe to our video to support us. Please subscribe to our video and hit the notification button so every time we upload a new video. So thank you very much.